So hi guys on Ustream. So what is the difference between me or anyone here, the difference between you and one of the beggars on the street? What is the difference between us and the monkeys in the trees, us and the street dogs? Why is it that I have flowers and the beggars have nothing? Or maybe they have some things. If this is a world of one, then it's the same energy looking through everybody's eyes. So if you look at me, it's the same looking as on the street, as a beggar on the street, as a monkey in the tree, as a dog on the street. There is no difference. God is there too. So why has this form got these flowers? Why does this form get these flowers? Why does Ramana Maharshi get the flowers? If God's looking out of everybody's eyes, what's the difference between the person sitting next to you? God is everywhere, in everything, is everything. And that's the true non-dual message. The mind separates and says, this one is better than this one is higher than this one. That's to do with the mind. That's not to do with non-duality. Non-duality is remembering the freedom that is everywhere, in everything. I heard this beautiful quote once, which is so touching, and I can't remember what teacher or what speaker it was, but they said, when I have done my job well, or it's something along the lines of this, when I've done my job well, the student or the person I'm speaking with will no longer see me as higher, will no longer regard me as anything, and will not say thank you for what I have given. They will just walk away. I remember reading that and just cried at how beautiful that was. Because that's the truth of it. It's only the mind that divides. It's only the mind that puts higher and lower. God can't. That which is looking can't. It can't think. It can't feel. It can't do anything. It creates all these forms to do that. And then it plays all these games in these forms. But who you truly are, presence, which is looking now, that which is experiencing this, isn't a thing. So it can't think anything. It uses forms to think. Presence rejects nothing. And I'm not telling you to do this on the human form, but I'm saying this as the absolute. Presence rejects nothing. The true nature here takes nothing, rejects nothing. You could say it gives everything because it's the creator of all, but takes nothing. It is not greedy, it is not selfish, it is not generous. It is presence. It is the knowing here, which isn't a form. So you look at me and you think you're looking at me and you're looking at someone, but that's not true. There is looking, and then there is a looking through an instrument which interprets, so the body-mind which interprets, I'm someone, she is someone else. And then it tries to find its position in relationship to that someone else. That's part of what the mind does. So it says, am I lower or higher than her? If you're lower, normally then you give reverence. If you're higher, then you don't want the lower to take your energy. But presence has got nothing to do with that. What we're talking about, non-duality, is beyond all of that. It's a freedom that's so vast. And what non-duality is pointing to is an energetic movement back to that presence, to that freedom, which is right here. The presence isn't behind. It's not the observer behind. It observes, but it's not this observer behind. Presence is everywhere. Where you can't say that it's behind, because in order to say it's behind, you would be looking at it. There would be a divide. The knowing is in all things. So now the wall is known. The seat is known. My voice is known. The flowers are known instantaneously. There is no separation from them. They are known. The taste of this is known. It's free. The knowing is free. The smells of the incense is known. The feeling of the butt on seat is known. It's known, and that's who you are. It's never born or dies. The form comes and goes. Things come and go. And the job of this, the awakening is finding that love, finding that presence in a world that's always moving. Isn't it amazing? So the only place it could be is right here in the knowing. That's the only thing that never moves. You never lose the presence. This is always known. This always is. But all forms come and go. This form is exactly the same as all other forms. And the dog, the manky dog on the street is exactly the same. The monkeys in the trees are exactly the same. They're all dead matter with presence, with God looking through. They are not alive. This body is not alive. You look at me and think I'm alive, but I'm not. There is nobody that's alive, yet there is presence that knows everything. There is God that knows everything. This is God's dream looking through all these vessels. But don't take this on in the human form. Hear this beyond the human form. If the human form, the personality tries to become non-dual, it will be a bit messed up. For the personality the the personality structure has a certain way of being, but it's not, that personality structure will change with this realization and with the waking up process, but that's not the thing that wakes up. The person isn't the thing that wakes up. If it was a thing, then this wouldn't be freedom. This wouldn't be non-duality if it was a thing that woke up. This is nothing that remembers itself, not a thing. If it's a thing, then it's a world of duality. If there is something that gets enlightened, then it's a world of duality, because there is something which gets something. But the looking is always here, and what happens is that cloud of illusion begins to move. And then it's known that presence is everywhere and knowing itself, that God is everywhere, looking through all these forms at itself. That everywhere you look, everything you touch is yourself as that wholeness. Not as a person, but as that wholeness. It's so beautiful. It's absolute compassion. So if anyone has any questions, they're very welcome. You just sit in the question chair.
So I know what you talk about. There's a strong resonance with it. But since there was a knowing of it, and now it's just a memory of it, but I know it, and I know what you're talking about. There has been just so much longing for that. For years now.
Yeah.
Then I came here. It's about 2.5 months ago. And different things happened in meetings, and there was also realizing the trap that this was sort of waiting for something.
Yeah.
and then maybe seeing it as just an experience that passed, and I'm trying to come to terms with, and settling with this peace of mind.
Yeah.
I'm slowly felt okay,
Yeah.
sort of, until I came to your talk. Since yesterday I'm like this. Because I just feel that that's what I want. It's not peace of mind. It's like, that's good, but I just want that, to know that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not be trapped in this,
Yeah.
not peace of mind for the person.
Yeah.
And there's not really a question.
Yeah.
I just had to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So the biggest heartache. So what do you feel in your body now?
It's like, I feel a bit. There has just been like almost very painful physical, and then just crying.
Yeah. Did you notice where the pain was?
It's about
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah. So like the heart and this bit here.
And it comes up, like it goes up,
Yeah.
and then I strongly feel it here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's love that what you want. It's love. Yeah. I remember going through so many stages of rejecting that and going towards it. I remember being angry with love, and rejecting it for ages, pushing it away. And then going back into that and then pushing it away. And what happens is the heart has to become so open, so willing to die in every moment, and so willing to endure the pains of this world. Like there comes a point where there is a surrender, a complete surrender. It's not your surrender. It's not saying you can't will yourself to surrender, but it just surrenders to this, to the fact that you can't make it happen. You can taste it, it's so close, but you can't make it happen, and yet you long for it. And I can understand that when thinking and listening about peace of mind, that's very relaxing, because your attention goes away from that longing in the body, but that longing will still be there underneath.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah. But the peace of mind will help you settle, and it will help the mind settle, but the longing for that love will always be there. Every human will long for love their whole entire life. And the thing is they feel so let down by other humans and by the nature of this life throughout life. They don't start off like that as a child. The heart closes more and more to it. And it's the staying open that's the important part. Like the innocence, that innocence to the pain. So the pain comes, humans behave a certain way, and there's an ability to stay open, a surrender to that. In the Course of Miracles, they say the waking up is about forgiveness. And I don't see it like that. I don't see it as forgiveness as such, but I understand what they mean, because it's not that you forgive something, and it's not that somebody inside the body is there to forgive, but it's going back to that innocence. To see the human form, what the person does inside the body is it takes its experiences onto itself. They did that to me, and then it shuts down over time. It takes it into the heart, and it shuts down. And what happens is you have an underlying ache in the heart area. This area is normally about lack of control and lack of being able to make it happen, so that you feel powerless and helpless. And so they kind of combine, and it just comes as an underlying anxiety. And that's all you want. So what I would suggest is, if you resonate with the peace, like peace of mind, that's also nice. But also just give yourself some time to feel that heartache, to feel your heart being broken by this world. Because this is what happens, is as soon as you identify, you keep getting your heart broken. People reject you, they don't give you that love. And so over time, it keeps feeling like you're being let down by mostly humanity and the nature of things, the fact that it always changes, but mostly by humanity. That humans never live up to what you expect them to. They hurt you. And it's not because they purposely do it, it's because everybody's doing their own thing. But don't go to the forgiveness part first. Just give yourself some time, if you have some time, to let your heart ache on the human level, for all those times that you've felt like somebody's taken away love from you. Because really that love is your nature. The illusion is that you've claimed to be something, and then you've taken on your experiences, what people have done to you, and you've closed down. And she's most probably been the perfect reminder. That ability to fall off the bike, and then they're like... Yeah, that innocence. And give yourself some time to speak it out. Like, speak what you've been hurt by, because that energy's been held in there. Like, just acknowledge it. Just bring it to consciousness, to the conscious level, because normally it's all unconscious. We're not, in the thought world, we're not aware of it. The body's aware of it, but there's no consciousness of it. But this is more of an energetical thing. It doesn't have to be very heady. It's like spontaneous writing, but spontaneous speaking. But also, if the peace of mind is nice. Peace of mind. But the reason that the mind gets so much anxiety and so gets lost in so many stories is because it's based on an illusion that I am somebody that controls this life. And so when that dynamic starts, then the mind begins to focus on controlling things and making life happen, and worrying about not being able to fulfill its pleasure quota. Hey.
Hi.
I'm sorry, you have to come to the seat.
First time.
So I don't let people in after 5 o'clock, but if you need the toilet, you are allowed to exit and come back in. You don't have to be banished if you go to the toilet.
And where is it?
The toilet is just across, I think, outside on the roof. So you just go out that door, I think. That was last time. I've never used it this time.
That idea of separation is so strong. I mean, everything I feel, pain, pleasure, whatever, tells me I am inside my body.
No, that's not true.
I know, my mind knows it's not true, but all my feelings tell me
No,
it's true.
the feelings
I feel-
don't. The feelings
and
don't.
I don't feel what happens in the body of other people. I feel mine only, so I'm sure I'm living inside it, or at least it is mine.
Yeah.
The others are not mine.
But the feelings don't tell you you're inside a body. The thoughts do.
Yes, the pain, if I burn my hand, I feel it. If somebody...
Yeah, but so now, so you're sitting on the floor, so your bum feels like it's sitting on the floor. And tell me, how do you know that? How do you know that sensation of bum on floor? Not that you're sitting on the floor, but the sensation of that bum on cushion.
It comes from there and goes to the mind. It's
So,
an information.
but no. There's something that happens prior to that. How's it known instantaneously? Before you interpret that you're sitting on a cushion.
Yes, there is a sensation before interpretation.
Yeah.
It's a physical feeling.
But there's also the consciousness of it.
Yeah,
So there is the consciousness that there is sensation there.
but it is not the same feeling with other bodies.
That's okay, but we can stay on this. We'll go to the other body thing at the moment. What your mind will try to do is it'll try to confuse me so it doesn't get an answer. Because really it doesn't want to get an answer. And I get easily confused. It's very good. I'm like, so just stay off that one for a second. We'll go to that one later. So we just stay with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so calmly, because your mind's trying to confuse everything, because your mind doesn't want the answer.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's afraid of it.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because it's death.
Now, who is the one that knows he's afraid of it?
This is confusing.
Yeah.
Because the ego or the mind or the me itself pretends to want the awakening and so on.
Yeah.
But in the other way, he knows it's death. So,
Yeah.
So he's cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so what happens now is there is sensation happening, and instantaneously that sensation is known. Not intellectually, but it is conscious. There is a consciousness of that sensation. So the sensation of your hands together is known prior to you thinking about it.
Sorry, is it an information or something physically, like an electric message? I'm not a medicine.
Oh, neither am I.
Yeah.
Just go to your experience, so just shut your eyes.
Yeah.
So your hands are together,
Yes.
and is that instantaneously known?
Probably or very fast.
So that's known.
Yes.
Can it not be known?
No.
So it's known. So that's your true nature, the knower. That's who you truly are,
Yes.
is the knower, is consciousness. It also comes with aliveness. Some teachers split it out, the I am and then the consciousness, but it's actually this sense of being that knows itself. So that's your true nature there. Now your mind then says, I have my hands together.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you didn't know you had your hands together or you were a body or anything. There was just instantaneous knowing of it. Innocent.
Yes.
Innocent.
I understand that.
Yeah? So in the instant of everything, there is not an illusion.
Yeah.
In this moment, there is never illusion. Never.
But
Instantly.
Yeah, but
Then we
this
get
moment is
confused
very
in
short.
time. No, this moment is forever. This moment is
Of
eternity.
course, yes, it is still there like the sun, but clouds comes very
Yeah.
quickly.
So what is it that confuses you?
That idea that I am... That
Someone. But it's become a feeling, so that's where it's confused, an added confusion, because I am someone has now become an energetic contraction, which makes it feel like there is actually something solid behind the eyes. But, so is that known? That person that's behind the eyes that you feel yourself to be, is that known?
Yeah.
Right now, that person that feels like it's making choices and thinking, is it known?
No, not immediately, not all the time.
Not all the time, okay, but then you're associating with thought. Is it known as in consciousness knows it, is conscious?
Sorry, could you...
Okay.
My English is...
Yeah, sorry, and I'm like a speed train.
Train my English.
Yeah. So, do you feel a location of you as a person, as a chooser?
Yeah, different places, of course.
So name the strongest place that you feel it now.
Now it's here, but
In your
most
heart.
of the time it's in your head.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just place your hand on your heart where you feel yourself to be.
Yeah.
And that is known, right?
Yes.
That's appearing in consciousness.
Yeah.
And you could say what it feels like is consciousness is prior to that feeling.
Yes.
But that's not ultimately true, but we'll just go with that. Now that feeling on top really feels like a contraction in you. But actually who you are is that innocent knowing that's prior to that feeling of the heart.
Yes, I know.
Now tell me, is my voice instantaneously known?
What do you mean by instantly?
Instantly.
Yes.
It's conscious. There is a consciousness of my voice.
Yes. Of
So
course.
my voice doesn't appear outside of consciousness.
No, of course. Consciousness is always there, I know.
Yeah?
But if I cut my hand, I feel the pain.
Pain is felt, you don't feel it. The you comes after and says, I've cut my hand, I'm in pain. You don't feel anything. You is an interpretation. Consciousness is that which knows everything.
Pain is real. It's a real feeling. No.
Well, it's a feeling.
So I forget I feel my pain, but I feel, sorry.
Yeah.
There is pain.
Yeah.
Pain happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But pain doesn't happen if somebody else cut.
Oh no, but we've forgotten about that. We're going back to the, here he goes.
It's too easy.
Too easy.
Okay, so I forget that I did. But that's my main question, but okay, I forget.
Just for a moment, we're just
Okay,
dealing
for a
with this.
moment,
Yeah, we'll go on to it
Okay,
afterwards.
we'll go, yeah.
So, all suffering comes from that one that's interpreting and believes that they're having pain. Consciousness doesn't have an issue with pain. It can't. This moment supports and holds all the horrors, hells, and beauty and heavens of this reality. The animals never suffer. It's only humans that have gone into time and thinking that suffer. The animals never began to think, so they never identified in time. So their essence is always the instant. So if my dog cuts her paw, even though there is immense pain, she does not know it's her pain. So therefore the whole of eternity supports that pain and holds that pain. But she does not know she's in pain. There is simply pain. So your freedom is right here. Your freedom is this instant.
So that's a circle. That's because there is that idea of I feel the pain, but I'm still...
Actually, the first thought is I exist, I am someone. Then it builds on that like building blocks and becomes an energetic feeling in the body.
But that first idea is fed
Yep.
by these feelings I am inside it.
You are, you are inside this, and this is why you suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the problem to suffer, but...
Okay, so now if you just put your attention into your body. So what is it you want most out of life, out of this life? As a separate person, what is it that you want most?
Like everybody. Sometimes I'm looking for awakening.
Yeah.
Other time for beautiful house, car, beautiful love, and so on.
Yeah.
So awakening is not something you can get. I
Yeah.
know that, of course.
So feel in your body now, what is it you would like right now?
What I would like to...
What would you like right now?
Nothing. It's okay.
That's not true, otherwise you wouldn't feel anxiety.
Yeah, but I accept it. Yes, there is still stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Okay, but there must be something you want.
It will be Aruna Chala.
Sorry?
Awakening.
You want awakening?
The hymn. Yeah.
Okay, so where do you feel that in your body?
Still there.
Here, in your heart?
Yeah, here.
So just let that fit. Make sure you get the right words, I want awakening. It will feel right when you say the right words of what you want. Your heart will long for it. It will resonate right, correctly.
It would be to remember. Just to remember.
And does that touch you when you say it? You feel that is true?
It's the idea I would choose. Yeah.
Okay, so go underneath I want to remember. What is underneath that? What do you want prior to wanting to remember? I'm not talking about consciousness, I'm talking in the human form. What does the human want prior to wanting to remember?
Sorry, I don't...
Because wanting to remember is a thought. I want a feeling.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, but I feel fine, even with my anxiety, you know.
You're
So-
lying.
Yes, I'm enjoying... What?
You're lying.
Maybe. But
So
I'm
just
lying
follow
to
me then.
As well as
Okay.
to you, yeah.
So go to the feeling.
Yeah.
Go underneath the I want Arunachala. Are you saying that you don't want Arunachala anymore?
Yeah, yes, I won't.
Okay,
Still-
so what's underneath that? What feeling do you want from getting Arunachala?
No feeling, I'm sorry, no feeling. I don't feel anything.
Yes, you do.
Yes, this anxiety, this stress, to be there and so on. But, yeah, to be happy. This is hard, but all the rest is fine.
Just give it some time. Just try and go under wanting Arunachala and see what you want. As a feeling, what feeling do you want when you get Arunachala?
It's freedom.
And what is
That's
freedom?
not- yeah, it's
Okay,
not-
yeah.
it's
What
not
that? Yeah.
It's not feeling you're right. It's an idea.
So what does this freedom feel like?
Ease.
Yeah. You want ease. You're allowed to have anything you want.
It will be awakening.
So tell me how that feels, awakening.
I don't know.
How can you want something you don't know? You must know.
I have ideas,
Okay.
no feeling.
You know, I'm just going to tell a story, and you can just keep your attention there. When I was a child, I had severe dyslexia growing up, and I don't even like to call it that, but just for communication sense, I don't see dyslexia as a negative. I just see it as a very creative mind and doesn't fit into our current education system. And so a lot of the time at school I was in trouble. I wasn't naughty, but I just got my work wrong all the time. Latterly I got naughty because I just got fed up with being naughty for something I couldn't control. And they would tell me I was lazy, and they would tell me I was bad or wrong. And they would make me do things that was very uncomfortable. And so what I used to do, which is really most probably part of the problem, was I would imagine what I wanted. So I would sit there in the classroom after the teacher had told me off, and I would imagine what I wanted. And what I wanted, so this was one of my favorite things of what I wanted, was that I had a huge love for dogs and animals. And I used to want to buy the field behind my parents. This was like when I was like 7 or 8. And I wanted to rescue all the dogs and take them to this field. And we'd all live happily together. Then latterly, when I was older, I began to learn about dogs, and I realized they'd all kill each other. But at the time, I was like, this is what I want. And when I did this, I wasn't interested in the imagining. What I was interested in, although I wasn't conscious of this, was the feeling. And so what it did when I imagined having these dogs and saving these dogs, because most probably what I was imagining is somebody would save me from that situation. But what would happen was that I would feel immense love come up. I would imagine rescuing and loving all these dogs, and I would then feel immense love. So what I did was I protected myself from my teacher's energy. So the teacher would try to tell me off and tell me I was bad and convince me that I was the devil because I couldn't read. And I would sit there and I would create immense love in myself. And this is all we ever want. And what we've done is we've used the mind to remind us of our own essence, which is love. But what we've done by activating, using the mind to access it, is we've begun to live in a dualistic world. And that creates heaven and hell. And that creates someone that can take something and give something to us, because we're living in a dualistic world. It's actually your essence. You wouldn't be able to long for it if it wasn't your essence. You know it. It's there all the time. And you're allowed to have it because it's you. You are allowed it. You're not bad or wrong like you've been taught. And that is what you've been taught. This is what this crazy reality is dreaming at the moment, is that we are someone that is bad or wrong. And this is why we've imagined to have all the beautiful women, to have awakening, to have enlightenment, to have, what else is there but beautiful women? Oh, beautiful men. The dogs, or whatever it is, the money. Although we're not so interested in the money, we're only interested in that to get the other things. And we're interested to make us feel secure. But it's your own essence that you're longing for. It's there all the time. It really is. And we've created all these blocks that we don't know we have, but from the external and what we've told, we've closed ourselves down to it. So this is why I'm trying to show you what you're longing for, because it's like when you're unconscious of this or unaware of it, it's like the gates are closed. The person, because it's like the person doesn't have to do anything, because it's the person's job ultimately. But it's like that person has to open up again and begin to dissolve. Like that illusion. Well, you're holding on to I am bad or I am wrong or I need all these things. You're closed. The person is contracted and hiding there. And you just need to be honest with yourself. And so when you're coming here, I'm just trying to point you to being honest with yourself. Yeah. And so really, all you're saying to me is, I want love. And you are allowed that. That's your nature. That's your essence. Yeah. And so I
can't feel it, but I agree. I understand that idea, yes.
Yeah. So just move your attention here.
Okay.
To that area. You are that love. You are perfect and you're divine just the way you are. You don't need enlightenment, or you don't need the certificate that says you're enlightened. You don't need approval. You don't need any of those things. You are it already. Who I'm really speaking to now is not a person that's lost, not a person that doesn't know who I am. I'm speaking to that essence which is everywhere and everything. You don't need to go anywhere for it. You spent your whole life a poor man, a poor woman, begging for it, begging from people, begging from money, begging from Aranachla, begging from Ramana, begging from me. But you don't need to beg. You're not a beggar. You are it. You know this. You know it instantaneously, not in time, instantaneously, right here.
And I am a dog as well, so you
Just have one more thing to say. So you wanted to know why you can't feel through the other bodies is because consciousness, life, the essence is looking through this form. That's why.
So
It's
could you
looking,
repeat, please?
because beingness, consciousness is looking through this form.
Yeah. Yes.
So it feels the feelings of that form. It's having, what's your name?
Bernard.
It's the
Bernard.
Bernard experience.
Yeah.
It's the Bernard dream.
Yeah.
And because consciousness doesn't have a memory, the brain has a memory, it can simultaneously look through all bodies at itself.
Simultaneously. Yeah.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah.
So you can imagine it like a paper bag. So say if we got a paper bag. Does anyone have a paper bag? No. We have plastic bags. So say if we got a paper bag and we, but I'm going to ruin it. That's okay? Look, this is, you see, I'm prepared. So we have a paper bag. Oh, and we have holes in it. And these holes are the bodies. So this is Bernard, and here is Lisa. This is Lisa.
Yes.
This is Bernard.
Yes.
This is Tanya. This very big one over here is Elango. And Elango, could you just switch the lights off for me, please? Outside?
Do you want a torch?
Nope. Oh, do you have a torch? How long will it take for the getting?
Yeah, the same light.
Just enough.
Huh? Yeah, it might be enough. Normally you need a light that goes all the way around, actually. So like a torch. You could put those two phones together, actually. But we need all the lights off. Da 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 da. Arts and craft. Okay, so you need to turn the lights off. Lango's gone. He misses the whole thing. He's getting the torch. He comes in. We've done it.
I'm switching off the lights.
I think actually this is better. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But you can still do the light.
Yeah, you could do the lights. And this one. Yeah, thanks.
All the lights.
You see? It's not so good because you need like a centralized light that's going off. But it comes out of all the holes.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what consciousness is like, looking through all these bodies, but it doesn't have a memory, so therefore it can simultaneously look through all. You're associating memory with consciousness. This is why it confuses you. You think, why can't I remember being inside that body? Because memory comes with the brain in that form.
Yeah.
Memory is here at the whole. Let's try with your torch now, Elanga. Maybe it's better.
Very powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't look at it.
Oh yeah, it's better. Go, Elango. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lights on?
Lights on.
Can we have a bit less air conditioning unless other people are really objective, I'm really cold.
Sure. But just don't turn it off because otherwise we'll get so sweaty. Just turn it up to, say, 21 or 22, the aircon.
You want to put that down or?
It's off actually.
Warmer.
So just at like 22, Alanga, if you can. Thanks.
Everybody's cold. You had it on 22, I think we gotta go higher.
25?
25 at least.
I think you're wrong because I think the bodies will heat us
There's
up,
no
but
power there, off actually.
This one?
Yeah, there's no light there, no?
1 second.
Those are off.
Press the orange button.
I think
We'll wait for something.
when you switch off the lights, you switch off the maybe
Oh,
switch it
your
off
power,
outside.
your
Yeah.
power might be off.
They said it takes some time.
Just fine.
Can I call the reception?
yeah. So if anybody else has a question? Sure, sure. Hey.
Yeah. Basically, it still comes back to that same thing of the duality of the body. In my experience I was able to deal with the emotionality that came and stuff like that, but now I've got this physical health problem. And even if I try not to engage in it, try not to have the thoughts, it still feels like there's suffering in the body. There's still pain in the body, and it's really hard not to get imprisoned by the duality of this body being the experience. Seems like the experience of that is almost stronger than the subtlety of sort of feeling into that freedom and that source.
Yeah.
And
What type of pain is it?
well, I have Lyme disease, so it's
yeah.
kind of a really strange thing that, most of the time I'm fine, and then one moment you just go down, you're smashed with headaches and
Yeah.
migraines and joint pains, feeling sick.
It's really interesting because there's research done that Lyme disease has a similar effect of awakening on the body. It's
Really?
interesting, yeah. Do you know who told me this? There's a speaker called Brendan Smith, who also had Lyme disease as a teenager.
Right.
And his parents, I can't remember the story, actually. Yeah, because I'm going to go for it and then I'll be like making up half of it, because I don't know. I'm not positive. I have the feeling that it was something that from that then, yeah, it's his story to tell. But he's interesting to look up for that. Yeah. And so, when you feel the pain, it's not that the pain's the problem. It's not, just 1 second, I have terrible concentration. But,
It's on, it's working.
Oh, it's off.
It's all
It
good.
happened
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have them while
The
you're
next
away.
time. Temperature will be. Okay.
So when you feel the pain, I promise you, pain isn't the problem. I mean, pain is going to be pain. I feel pain. I get headaches, or like the other day, when you've been on the aeroplane, you feel like your head has been compressed, and your eyes are sore when you come out in the light. And trying to think about the most immense pain I felt recently. Yeah. So I'm not trying to dismiss your pain. Pain is pain, and it's painful. That's part of looking through a human form, which navigates through this world through the system of moving towards pleasure and avoiding pain. That's how the body should be. But your suffering comes from the one that identifies with that pain and sees it in a timeline. So say my beautiful dog, when she feels pain, she doesn't think or feel to herself, and these thoughts are often unconscious. I'm going to have this for 10 years, or I'm not sure if Lyme disease is for your whole life or 7 years. They're not sure.
Yeah,
They don't know.
incurable most of the time. If you treat it early, you can basically kill it with 2 weeks of antibiotics, but if it goes many years, and for me it was so many years before they found out
What it
wrong.
was, yeah.
So with that it spreads, and then it's hard to get rid of. So
Yeah.
it's really about managing the pain.
Yeah. And what will be subtly playing in you is you'll be putting it into the timeline. So you're, and this will be unconscious. Your body will be energetically doing it. So when the pain comes, your mind will be seeing you in the future with it and seeing you in the past with it. Whereas Khaleesi, because she cannot think, she has some form of thinking, but she doesn't think in words, and she doesn't think this is her pain, and she doesn't think, oh, I've got this pain for 20 years or 10 years, or I've got this for the rest of the life, and she doesn't have an image that's happening to her. So therefore, her essence isn't stuck in her body, and it's kind of life that's taking it. And life doesn't suffer because it doesn't own or hold anything. So when the pain is beginning, just check into your body and see if there is contraction happening in your body, and see if you can get it spontaneously speaking. So see if you can bring conscious it rejecting what's happening, the experience. And by doing that, it will begin to be released from your body, because it becomes a bodily thing where your body, the pain starts and your body contracts to it. And you're holding, it's kind of bizarre to say this, but you're holding thoughts in your body. It happens like you're not conscious of it, but there is a very quick rejection that's happening in the mind, and then you hold it in the body, and you just need to get it speaking so it begins to come conscious. And then when it comes conscious, that energy won't keep building and holding there. So I don't know if you've got pain now.
Not just minor
Minor
sort of,
pain.
yeah.
And it will come and go, it will change. There'll be some times where there's total acceptance of it, and sometimes when there's resistance. But their job is just to let the resistance speak and feel it, feel it. Don't try to stay up here. Don't try to talk yourself out of it with non-duality, with emotional ideas or anything. Really, really allow yourself to feel that rejection, not the pain. You can go into the pain as well, but feel where the rejection is happening, because it is the rejection which is the suffering, and it's so unconscious.
That's true. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, what you're saying, I agree. I don't agree though with the animals. So I've worked a lot with animals, and everything, the big cats and things like that, and they still have fear. There's still fear
I still have fear.
Of the body. And,
fear, but fear is a natural bodily sensation. Like the body should feel fear. So the body, we get to this idea of enlightenment that it takes out all feelings, but the body should feel fear. Because if you didn't feel the sensation of fear, if there was something that was going to endanger you, the body wouldn't move away. So the body's set up on the idea, or not the idea, it's programmed to move towards pleasure and avoid pain. And that the suffering happens when the identity identifies with that and tries to always stay in pleasure and avoid pain. This is my pleasure, I always want this. So waking up on my terms, it might be totally different from what Ramana or other speakers talk about, but what it is here is the collapse of that identity, and pain and pleasure can still happen, but for no one. And that's a totally different experience. And so fear can still come here, anger can still come here, but there's nobody holding on to it and claiming it to be mine. It's like eternity carries that. There isn't somebody that's experiencing that fear. But it's really necessary. So I sometimes in the way I speak about it, and I'm not trying to convince you, this is something for you to go away and explore and think about. Like I use animals in my exploration and in explaining it. So when I was exploring, and also after the awakening happening, trying to understand it better, because animals show their feelings. They don't have any urge to hide them. Sometimes they might try to hide them for some reason, but most of the time they don't. They just fully show their feelings. So if they don't like something and want it away from it, they just growl. If they're afraid, like my dog's heckles go up. Her hair stands on end. If she doesn't want to cuddle, she's not like, well, I'll give you a cuddle just because I feel sorry for you, or whatever it is. She just walks away. She's totally in her feelings. And so this looking at the animal and looking at the natural feelings that arise in it are really important to see that this instrument too has to have these natural feelings. The This is what it's looking through. This is what life is looking through. Enlightenment is the movement back to that empty looking, but it's still going to be looking through a human form. So the body's still going to be feeling. When that awakening happens, there will be a massive change that happens in the body-mind mechanism, because the body-mind mechanism has been operating under the idea that you are a separate entity moving through time. So there is a massive emotional release happens, and still in my body, after that huge awakening and shifting back to that, still my body is processing the years that it was identified from. So there's still emotional change happening here and physical change happening here. And so there is a massive change in the conditioning, but that's not the point to awakening. The point to awakening is moving back to that freedom that experiences everything and is never born or died. So it's not about not feeling. But I have just thrown so much information at you. So you can go online on my YouTube channel after and you can watch back what I've said to you and use it to explore. Don't take my word. In a way, it is and isn't your journey.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I do totally understand what you're saying, and I know in my experience that when there is the freedom is when there's that willingness to just to allow it,
Yeah.
not to engage in, because I sort of know what you mean also with that energy of the timeline. And Lyme disease is a scary one because it has a pretty fatalistic timeline.
Yeah.
I'm going to have this for life, and you don't actually die from it, which is a freedom in itself. You kind of have to cling to this uncertain body,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know there is this sort of energy that collects together, whether it's the thoughts or fears or whatever it is. And I can recognise that as a suffering when that's sort of felt into, it can really release.
And spontaneously speaking, I think, is a really good way, because we often on the surface level have a story about it, and when you spontaneously speak, you sometimes see what's below our story of what we feel. But thanks. Nice. Hey.
Hi. You were talking before that what you're actually looking for is love.
Yeah.
And I feel that what I'm looking for the most is just a quiet mind. I'm daydreaming too much and I'm thinking too much all the time.
So, well.
I just want to wake up from my daydream, just to have a quiet mind and to see reality as it is.
Yeah. The quiet mind is something you already tell yourself. So try going back to the feeling. So what would a quiet mind feel like?
I experienced it for a few moments, in my life. It comes and goes,
Yeah.
But it's only for a few moments, and then again, a lot of thoughts coming.
And what does it feel like?
It doesn't feel good. Even if it's good thoughts or everything, I feel like I'm missing what's really happening.
Oh no, but what does the quiet mind feel like?
Like I'm total peace, like I can see everything. And
what does the peace feel like?
It feels good. I can't really explain it, it's I feel like it's how it should be,
And what do you imagine love to be like?
Love? More like happiness, to be happy all the time. To love everything, to love everybody, to love myself.
I don't think that your interpretation of what I meant by love is is what you're interpreting to be love. I think that what I mean by love is that being, that aliveness, that empty looker, which is also everything. Can you feel a sense of I am at the moment?
Yeah.
Not me, Lisa,
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
Can you feel a sense of I am?
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It feels like nothingness. Like there is nothing.
So just shut your eyes and just say to yourself, I am. Do you have any sense of that? Does it still just feel like nothingness?
Yeah.
I am. Do you have a sense of existence? Of being alive?
I don't really know. I can't answer it.
So your I am just feels like nothing.
Yeah. When I'm in the I am, there's no thoughts.
And
No
any
thoughts,
feelings?
it's the I am. Feelings, no feelings, nothing. And this is how I want to be all the time, you know? This is what I feel like.
Do you want to be dead?
No, I don't want to be there, but I want to see the reality as it is, not with daydreaming, and not like to see something and put labels on it.
So you think that what speakers are speaking of is just nothing?
It's come out of nothing. Sometimes
Nothing.
I feel it. Sometimes I just feel like everything's just happening and
But what about the problem of the everything?
there is no problem. But the problem is that sometimes I'm thinking too much, and this is it's like a burden, you know? It's
But so if you think that it's just about becoming nothing, and that that's the reality, what about the problem of everything?
there is no problem with everything. The problem is that it's like I'm living my own dream, you know? Like I'm living. I don't experience it like I'm everything. I experience it like I'm a separate body with a separate mind.
But you came and you started saying about the love, so I'm just trying to explain to you the love side of things. So Nisargadatta Maharaj, he said something along the lines, to know I'm nothing is wisdom, to know I'm everything is love, and in between my life resides. It's just so sweet and beautiful, that quote.
Yeah, I read this book
So,
2 times.
so go back to that sense of I am. Are you sure it's just nothing? Or are you sure, or do you think that that's just what you've been taught? Just really be honest. Just sit there and just say to yourself, I am. Anything?
It feels good. That's it.
Oh, good. There's actually love there. So the emptiness side, you could say the knowing, the consciousness, is the emptiness side, and the I am is the explosion into everything, is the existence part. And they're together, they're not apart. Some teachers teach that consciousness comes first and then the I am comes second, but that I don't see it like that. And I see it as they're both together. The nothing and the everything are together. So one half of this is total divine love, and that is everything. That's that sense of being, that amness. And then the other side is this empty knowing that knows nothing and yet knows everything. So that's that side. Okay, back to the problem of you not wanting to think. You're not going to get out of thinking and overthinking by trying not to think, or by sitting in I am or the emptiness.
That's I know, but still I have a strong... my biggest wish is just to wake up.
Okay, so what you need to do, and this isn't for everyone, this is just speaking particularly to, did I ask your name?
No.
What's your name?
Ben.
Ben, particularly to Ben. So Ben, you need to spend some time investigating the physical sensation of life, because your sensations, the sensation and the sensed are the same thing. And at the moment, I get the feeling that you're most probably, your awareness and your attention is just in your head.
Yeah.
And so you need to put some attention into the body and give your body some of that awareness that's up here, the personal awareness that's just locked up here.
It's true. Like in Vipassana.
Yeah, you could do Vipassana. You just moving that attention down to the feelings. So when you feel upset by anything, moving it down and giving it some attention. But this isn't something I'm prescribing to everyone, and ultimately there is nobody that I could prescribe to, because there's nobody actually sitting here and there's nobody talking, but it's what's coming out of this mouth, is to just give your body some attention.
I have one more question.
Because the reason that the mind obsessively thinks is because it's trying to avoid the feelings. And the reason the feelings are uncomfortable is because the mind is obsessively thinking to try to avoid the feelings. And so when it obsessively thinks, it keeps all the energy up here. Yeah. Second question.
Makes sense, yes. Second question. One day I was dreaming, and I was like outside of my body, and I could witness my body sleeping.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask if you also have this experience.
No, I haven't. I had a friend that used to have those experiences. It's an experience to show you that you aren't that watching, that empty watching isn't from and appearing because of that body. That watching is beyond the body. It's an experience, an awakening experience. You are that empty watching, as well as that.
Since my experience, I know that I'm not the body.
Yeah, yeah. I used to have different ones. So everyone has their own. It's a unique path for nobody.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have the time?
6:25.
Okay. Yeah. What's your name? We've met on the internet. What's your name?
Gautam.
Gautam, nice to meet you in person. Where are you from?
I'm from Punjab basically, but living in Pune.
In Pune, that's it, yeah, I remember. You look very different in person.
What I experience in this moment, not in this moment, I'm talking about a little bit 1 day or 2 days before, there was so much seeking comes up, which does not let me surrender completely to this moment.
Where do you feel that feeling?
Right now I am aware of all of my body in this moment.
Yeah.
I can even feel like the heart is beating right here. It's the pulse beating.
Yeah.
I can feel it here. In the past I have experienced many times deep peace. It is a kind of experience like somebody has taken my head and put it in the freezer
it has so cooled down to like 0 Celsius, but it is not here in this moment.
Yeah.
And what I want is to feel this experience, the experience that I have many times in the past, to throughout the day.
So when you say that, I want to experience it, where do you feel that in the body?
Basically, it is here in the head.
And,
There
and
is
just
some
put your
heaviness
put
is
your
here.
attention down into your body. Is
Yeah,
there
there-
an
If you divide my attention, like 10% is in the body and 90% is in the head.
Okay, so just put your attention down to your heart area. What do you feel there?
It's all comfortable.
Comfortable? And into your tummy?
It's all comfortable. I'm breathing in to the tummy.
Yeah. And it's all comfortable, but it's not comfortable behind the eyes.
Yes, correct. And this is the only reason I came. Maybe I'm trying to avoid that.
Okay, so just keep your attention there. And so it feels uncomfortable behind the eyes. It feels like very fast thinking and lots of energy there.
Thinking is not much, but it is, if you just like try to scale it, it is like, if you give it scale like 10, 20, 30, 50, so it is nearly 10.
Okay.
So it's slow, I mean fluctuations are arising
Yep.
in vacuum, it's like.
So just keep your attention in that area. Knowing the whole time that that one that keeps its attention in that area isn't the actual experiencer and isn't experiencing this, it is an experience appearing in this.
There is also one more thing, that the mind is resisting what I am feeling in the body.
Yeah?
It wants to resist, it doesn't want to give attention to the body.
Okay.
Since I told you I'm following Eckhart Tolle from last
Yeah.
3 years,
Yeah.
so he recommends to go within the body, feel inner body. That's
Yeah.
what the mind is resisting.
Yeah.
It is kind of telling me just stay as I am, no need to stay in the body.
Mm-hmm.
It is like
Who do you think?
don't-
Who do you think knows better, your mind or Eckhart?
I think Eckhart knows. But there is a belief that I'm believing the mind.
Yeah. It's okay.
Just like you, moment ago you explained your experience when you came out of the plane. Your head was aching. Same kind of experience I experience whenever I get out of the bus. I'm traveling like for 6 hours.
Oh, that's okay, but that's not here now. Just go on what's here.
The same kind of thing is still here now.
Yeah, okay. So now just move your attention down to the very bottom bit of your belly. And then down to your toes, your kneecaps, your heart area.
Whenever I'm talking to you, my whole body starts to shiver. I don't know why. It's still shivering now.
That's okay, so just run your attention through that. You know, the sensing and the sensed are the same thing. So everything you feel in the body and the outside world is the same thing. It's the way that life is experiencing itself. It's looking through the senses. It's having a sensory perception experience. And we want to sit in the I am or in consciousness to try to cut off from that, but you can't. That's part of it. You can't have one without the other. It's good that we talk about it and there's a knowing of what's being talked about, the consciousness, the amness, But at the same time, there has to be a dealing with this, with the everything part of it. No, not the everything. We don't want to feel. We want to be dead. You don't want to be dead, I promise you. Yes.
Now the whole body is shivering, but there is some movement which is trying to resist that also.
Yeah, so go with that resistance. Be like, you fucking bitch, I hate this. I hate it. Let it come. Just let it come. The mind is always like, I can't be this. I have to be spiritual. I have to be nice. I have to be kind. Oh my God, I can't be angry.
No, anger I have not faced, seen from big long time.
Okay, so just go with that resistance and let it speak. Spontaneously speak as if you're spontaneously writing.
It is kind of stream of energy that wants to get out of my body.
Yeah, but that's telling a story. Go to the spontaneous speaking. Just blah.
Where should I focus in this moment?
Well, in the contracted bit. And it's allowed to say anything. I really don't mind. I've been called
don't have
everything,
anything
good
to
and
say.
bad.
I don't have anything to say. in this
Okay,
moment.
okay.
But the peace is not there. The peace that I explained,
Yeah,
somebody has put my head in the freezer, it's not here.
that's okay.
Head is, it's a larger temperature. It's
Yeah. Our suffering comes from comparison. So we have now not peace and we have the idea of peace.
And there is a seer, seeker who is trying to find that experience again.
Yeah. Do you feel fear?
No fear. After reading and listening to Eckhart and you, I have forgot all the definitions of fear. What does it mean to be safe? I haven't surrendered. I don't understand those words now. Right now I don't even understand what, if you say to me, surrender to this moment, I don't know what does that mean.
No, you don't. No, it's okay.
I want to say myself to allow this, what I'm feeling, the shivering, but I cannot say it. It is like I cannot allow myself to feel it.
Yeah.
So what is that?
It's because you feel fear.
Fear is not there.
So you think.
Contraction is there.
Our thoughts often tell us very different stories to what we feel. So you can just lie down just lie down and relax. But you can just move up there so someone else can ask a question.
Okay.
Yep. So just lay down and just keep your attention going through your body. But just make yourself comfy. If you feel uncomfy laying down.
It is more comfortable.
Yeah. Why didn't invent meditation to be laying down?
If I lay down like this, I will sleep.
Oh, that's okay. I used to go see
And this
Ramesh
happens most of the time. Whenever I'm
laying
trying
down.
to sit for meditation or focus on the I am, I will sleep.
I used to do that. I used to go and see Ramesh Balsekar in Mumbai, and I used to go off season, so there was lots of space, and he'd have these 2 day beds, and I'd just lay on the day bed. He'd start speaking. It's lovely. It does its job. If anyone else has a question? Yeah.
It's not really to do with me.
Yeah?
But I've been thinking it the whole time. So, is material love from like people or external things the same as true love?
No. No. Your true love isn't a feeling or a sensation. It's that which is always there. So love from material and things and people is a conditioned love.
So the feeling you feel, that's
What
different.
happens, there's a taste of it, because often, so say if you are in love with someone, when you have that moment of kissing them and you feel this immense pleasure, there's the pleasure side of it, but there's also a side of you which stops seeking in that moment. So it's not total freedom, but it's in there. It's like it shows through more because you get the person, and this often happens at the beginning of relationships, and you stop seeking for something else, so you're totally content in that moment. And so this happens with things that we like, and this is why we think what we like and pleasure is it, because we like something and the seeking relaxes a bit. But it's not total freedom, but we taste it in that. So I used to... I was talking about this yesterday, I don't know if you were here yesterday. So I used to love music when I was growing up, and I would listen to music really, really loudly. And then I would feel so much love that I would begin to disappear. I didn't even know I was doing a practice. It's just there would just be love everywhere. And that's what we're really seeking for. But our mind divides it and sees that love on people or on things.
So if you feel generally content, and then I guess the things that make you feel content go away, obviously you feel discomfort. I don't really know what I'm trying to say.
But the difficulty in that is what happens when the bad things come. So when that which you love, your partner or something, goes, you're in hell because you've associated your freedom with them.
Yeah.
And this is why we go to such heavens and such hells with people, because the person's claiming it. But really, actually, what you're seeking for is this love which is always present. And it's not this ecstasy that you get from the first time you make love or the first time you kiss. Not that ecstasy, but it's this glow, that's not a thing but is always there. It's just when you get things and when things go well, you forget yourself. You're totally immersed in the experience, and then you come back and you're like, oh wow, it's that thing, and then you get addicted to that thing, and then you fear losing that thing. Then you stop loving that thing because you're addicted to it, and then it takes it away, and then you hate that thing. We get into such confusion.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's just misidentification. Your essence is that well-being, is that love, is that empty looking. So your essence doesn't suffer, and then the person comes in and claims it. This is why, so in Buddhism and all religions, it's always about the pain-pleasure thing, because it's not that pain and pleasure have to go. It's that identity which believes freedom is in pleasure, and hell is in pain. And this is the lie. Pleasure and pain are something that come and go. And pleasure and pleasurable, it's nice. I like pleasure rather than pain. And pain is painful. Yeah. I love that colour you're wearing. It's really beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I don't think I'll ever be able to wear it again if someone dressed me.
Oh, Hello. Have we met before?
Never personally.
No?
We have a lot
We've
of connections,
spoken.
though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We
Funny story for you, actually. But no, we've never spoken. Really nice.
You have beautiful earrings.
Thank you. So I'm really appreciating your inquiry into the body and feelings, and also this truth telling. And it's the way I've been kind of going more and more. And yeah, I do tend to give a lot of space to feel whatever's arising and just to allow it to play out. And I'll just give you an example of what happened this morning. I woke up and I felt awful. And I've taken a break from Facebook for a week because that tends to not always be the best for me. And so but I had just said 1 week, so today was the day that I got to break it. and immediately I came upon something that just produced this contraction, this sadness. And so I put it aside and I was like, okay, just feel this. And so I allowed it, I cried, and then I can't remember exactly if this is what happened today or if it's more composite, but usually then it'll lead to some, like a deeper level of what's underneath the sadness. And usually I'm able to go to this feeling of just not enoughness.
Yeah.
That seems to be the lowest
Yeah.
layer. And so I feel it and notice what sensations are there. And then usually it resolves. But it just keeps coming back. Like it seems like no matter how many times I go through this process. And I also know that by trying to, make it go away, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
And yes, I just wanted to ask about that.
I wouldn't trust about it keeps coming back. So I remember when I was with my ex-boyfriend and I was about 27, and this is so funny, but I remember crying to him and being like, it's just happened so many times and I've suffered so much and I've felt it so many times. How many more times can I do it? Now at this time I thought 27 was really old, and I'd been practicing or been into this subject since I was sort of most probably 17, 18. So it felt like I'd been through so much. I'd done so many Buddhist retreats. I used to do Vipassana, and I was like hardcore, and I did lots of retreats, and the Vipassana would be like 10 hours a day of meditation and feeling and bodily sensations. And I was like, I've cried too much, I've suffered too much, I can't do it anymore, it's not fair, it's never going to happen. And it's just a thought, and it's another trap. It really is another trap. It feels so convincing that you've felt it so many times and that you've allowed it so much, but it's just not true. It's another story of not enoughness coming in through the back door. It has to be felt until it's not felt anymore. And if you look at it in the spectrum of humanity, your waking up processes is really quick. If you look at it as in humanity is waking up rather than you personally, because it's ultimately not you, it's humanity, then it's a really quick process. If you look at it in your lifetime, then it begins to be slow. Really, we'll go for looking at it in no lifetimes. But if you just compare it to humanity, it's a really quick process. Like humanity is really changing, and this subject's really growing, and people are really, like if you look at your mum's generation and the way that she thought and the way that she was, and then your gran, it's really changing quickly. And it really is humanity waking up, not you personally. Because it's this information that we're looking through, these bodies of information that we're looking through. There's not actually a separate entity sitting there that's waking up, or a separate entity here. It's the information which is changing, of being this contracted person that lives inside the body. And as that begins to dissolve, in some humans, it will begin to pass to all humans, like the idea of God did, like the idea of whatever, pizza did. Or I can't think of anything. It passes because it's not a personal thing. There is no person here. There's life's creation. It's created this human, and they've been through this massive dance. And really, beingness has been looking through humanity, so who you are, for maybe, I don't know how long humans have been around, millions of years? I don't know, thousands of years? I don't know that, but it's a very long time. And like beingness, who you truly are, that which is looking now, has looked through so many different eyes at this. And so time is just such a total illusion. I've felt this so many times, it's not true. And it was I remember when my boyfriend said to me at the time, That's just a thought. It was so profound. I really got what he meant. I really got that it was another trap. We can look at things in so many different ways, and that's not the point. The point is what's actually happening, and that it's not you waking up. It's not your waking up process. It seems like that, but it's not you. It's beingness. Beingness is creating these forms, which by being identified, then they can find home again and know home, which is different from an animal. An animal can only ever be home. The animal can only ever know this, whereas the human loses home, so it then knows going home. It's creating these conscious forms, which at first they believe they are a conscious form, and then it's seen that there is this God is looking through. So God is learning itself in the dream. It's amazing what it's doing, but it's not anybody's waking up process. So when you get into that mentality, there's a beautiful Alan Watts quote. So if you just swap it around, and Alan Watts has this quote about ink, and he throws it against the wall. So he has an ink bottle and he throws it against the wall, and he calls this the Big Bang. And he says, in the middle is the beginning of time, and then as it spreads out and becomes more and more intricate, so at the end of the explosion of ink, there's like intricate little details. This is where humanity's at. But really, it's all timeless. It's one instant throw, but we're going through it, we're viewing it like this. And it's not your life. It's not your waking up process. So it's like not that you've got to surrender, but there's a surrendering to that which is bigger, that which is timeless. And that's got nothing to do with anything that anyone ever thinks. So when Jesus said, so when we think that Jesus died for us as Christians, although I'm sure none of us are Christians anymore, he didn't die for us as in the sense that he was a good person. He died for us because it's humanity waking up. He died for everyone because he is everyone. Sorry, that was a really random thing to throw in there. Sometimes I say quotes and I really don't explain them very well. So that quote, I think that's what it means, is that it's not him. He didn't die for us as in he gave his life for us. He died for us because it's humanity waking up. It's all of us waking up together. And then there's lots of quotes that you could go from Buddhism and the Bodhisattva and what the Bodhisattva is, but it's irrelevant.
And then I have another little question.
Yeah.
So after I went through this process, I decided, okay, maybe I'd go up to the caves and meditate. Maybe that'll shift things. And I still felt really grumpy. And I was walking, and in kind of my poor me story, and I recognized, okay, it felt like, I know there's no one to choose, but it felt like there was a choice point. I can shift this and maybe smile at this person, or, I don't know, do something that will lighten this, or I can stay in this sort of, this grumpy mode. And I guess it kind of comes to this love versus truth in a way. My truth in that moment was I'm grumpy and I don't want to be friendly. I want to close myself off. But then it's but then there's compassion, there's love, and so I guess when you're kind of faced with a choice between these two, how do you navigate that?
Ultimately, there is no choice maker. Choices happen, but when it feels like you're making the choice, what I would do, or the process that I did, is always go back to what's actually happening rather than what you want to happen. So there's these two choices, and then just go, if you can, just really center yourself and just let that come out. So it's in between the two choices. So maybe just sitting silently and just seeing, and then that will emerge rather than these. But ultimately, it's not you that chooses. So if you really look at it, you see that those choices come from no place, and that's your freedom, the no place. But it feels like that we choose. It feels like you can choose between one and the other, and there's a tension on one and then the other. But I would try and go in between it. And just let that emerge, let Like, go to the feelings, go to the sense of being, and just let that come. And don't think too much about which one is better or not. And if that be grumpy, that be grumpy. And then on another day, if that be kind, be kind. Okay. What was the funny story about meeting?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think this will be the last question because I think that we're maybe at time.
Yeah.
So just this one. Hey.
You said you did Vipassana?
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I recently done one.
Mm-hmm.
I've done two, and I practice
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's something missing.
Yeah. I don't think you're the personality type for Vipassana. I'm sorry that I'm so quick to say that. I think
so
you.
What should I do? Not to Vipassana.
I think you'd be better at doing something physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that thought. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry it's come so quickly. And just so you all know, I'm not a change therapist. This is all exploration that I've done on myself, and this all spontaneously just comes out of me. And I just look at you, and when you say Vipassana, I'm like, I met so many people in the Vipassana and in meditation, because I was always a bodily person. I knew the emotions, I knew what I was feeling, I had that, whereas I can see that if you were to sit there for hours, your energy would just go here. It would be very strong, so you'd be better at doing more bodily things. And I'll let you explore that. There's so many different, there's Tantra, there's all types, there's Osho sort of stuff, there's so many different bodily things.
I like the retreat thing, to come back to this 10 days retreat and stay there and like go deep.
Yeah.
Do you know some other?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. I think the internet would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your next step after Vipassana?
Non-duality. I was kind of already beginning in the non-duality, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
With pleasure. But I give all this advice, but please know that it's not me giving the advice and it's not you that is receiving it, because there cannot be that. That would be a world of separation. There is an energy coming out there, and that energy there will either do it or not. You think it's you doing it, but it really isn't. There is no prescription here. That's impossible. That would be a world of divide. That would be a world of two. But just like I can say to you, could you pass me that lovely water bottle, please? Look, it happens. And then we say, I passed the bottle. So we think. But Khaleesi, she does not think, well, she couldn't pass me a bottle, but if I said, bring the toy, she doesn't think that she brings the toy, there's just bringing the toy. And then I say, fetch the toy, and she's like, yeah! But she never thinks that she's done it for me, or that I've told her to do that. There is just an instantaneous running, picking up, feeling, running back, taking, whew! Actually, she's really rubbish. I throw it one time, she goes and gets it the second time, she's like, fuck off. What do you think I am? Sorry. No F words, at least it wasn't some of the others. I would appreciate, the flowers are beautiful, but I would much appreciate you to give to one of the beggars on the street or something like that, or an Indian charity. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.